good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are located, and welcome everybody to today's webinar. Today, our session presenters are as follows. Dave Beathers, our Vice President of Product here at TCN. He has been with TCN since the early days and is considered an industry veteran in his own right, having played a huge role in TCN's operator platform, and has helped it become what it is today, with a focus on product development, client success, and continuous feedback from clients using TCN solutions. Dave has been at the forefront of the contact center software solutions. So thank you, Dave, for joining us and helping us navigate our new BI solution today. Our next session presenter is Dave Chase. He is a leader with over 20 years of experience managing people, products, and technology. He joins us as a product engineering manager here at TCN. He has a diverse background in visual technologies and computer information systems. Dave has a passion for providing creative solutions to complex problems in a quest for continuous improvement. Dave has a strong technical and analytical mindset, as well as demonstrated a history of working to understand and deliver proven results in the contact center space. So both of our presenters are BI experts, and we are excited for what they have in store for everyone today. Let's take a look at the agenda. So we wanted to, we get the introductions out of the way, and we wanted to start off. I'm going to just briefly kind of highlight TCN's operator platform, TCN's view on how we view the contact center and how the BI plays a role into that solution. And then we'll dive into the product showcase with Dave Chase and as well as Dave Beathers. We'll then see BI in action with Dave Beathers, and then we'll be able to answer any questions towards the end of the webinar. So we can proceed here. So as I mentioned, operator is made up of 6 core pieces. And a lot of you are probably familiar with this pinwheel we have here, but operator is a collection of the best, how we view the contact center and how it's integrated into a single platform. So we believe operator streamlines your contact center operations, so you can say goodbye to switching between platforms to accomplish key tasks. So whether you operate a 1-seat call center or a 10,000-seat call center, all of this is paired with an implementation that can take place in days, not weeks, or even months. And we've done this in a way where we can simplify your compliance, automate your agent interactions, and do it all with the speed and performance you'd expect from a TCN solution. So for today's webinar, I wanted to just let you know, we're going to focus a lot on the BI and reporting aspect of the operator pinwheel. TCN's BI solution can easily pull information, and this is why it is a pinwheel, right? We believe that being able to report on every aspect of the contact center is paramount, and we believe that it is seamless. So what this allows you to do is have better performance tracking, get customized reports, and have a seamless integration across all the solutions. So what it does is it just gives you a big picture view with intuitive dashboards that keep you in the know of overall site performance, and as well as even down to the individual metrics by agent or by specific KPI. I hope this gave you a kind of a brief overview and rundown about how we view operator, and as well as our philosophy around the contact center and how BI plays a very significant role in that. And with that, I wanted to then pass time over to Dave Chase and as well as Dave Beathers to kind of take it from here. Well, I believe Dave Chase first and then Dave Beathers, but I'll give you guys the floor to kind of take it from here. Dave.
Awesome. Thank you, McKay, for that great introduction. Excited to be here with everyone today and to spend a few minutes discussing the new business intelligence, what we call Operator BI platform. So turning data into information and information into insight. This statement emphasizes the progression from the raw numbers to meaningful, useful understanding. And then speaking of raw numbers, TCN operator's suite of applications, as we saw in that pinwheel diagram that McKay presented, and also here, these suite of applications generate hundreds of millions of data points every single day. So managing this amount of data can be a nightmare unless you have a system in place to help you properly process and organize the data. Uh, Thankfully, we've got TCN Operators BI, which is built on a robust data platform that turns your data into the information that you need to generate useful insights into your business. So it all starts at the source or at the application. So here we see on the left-hand side a list of those applications again within TCN Operator. And this data from each application that is generated by the application is saved first within our application's database or our data lake. And TCN's data platform then brings together the data through an automated process known as an ETL pipeline. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. And so during the first extraction stage, we're gathering the raw data and we're ensuring accuracy and completeness of the data. And then that data is transformed, it's cleaned and processed. We clean the data by removing duplicates and handling of missing values. We normalize inconsistent formats, things like dates and duration. We combine relevant data with different sources. We aggregate, summarize data such as averages and totals and other transformations that take place. Next, we load or store the data. The data is uploaded into TCN's data warehouse. TCN utilizes the new Operator BI system, utilizes a columnar-based data structure when storing its data. And unlike traditional row-based data structures, which store all of the data for a single record or for a record into a single row, a columnar data structure stores all of the values for a specific attribute across multiple rows. For example, agent name or phone number. And the columnar-based data structures are ideal for analytical data warehouses. They provide faster analytical queries, queries that typically only access a subset of attributes from data records. Also, it allows for better compression because each column contains similar types of data, and therefore they can be compressed more effectively. There's also improved performance or I/O, read-write, where only relevant columns are read from the storage, leading to faster query execution. And optimized in the other, and these columnar-based data structures are optimized for performing aggregation, such as summing and averaging mins and maxes. Next, from the data warehouse, we analyze the data. So TCN Operator utilizes a modern query language known as PRQL or Prequel, which stands for Pipelined Relational Query Language. And Prequel is an alternate syntax that makes working with SQL-based databases easier. So any of you that are familiar with data analytics, data science, and SQL, Prequel is simply a different or a newer flavor of the SQL-based language. TCN Operator then utilizes an in-memory database management system. This runs the application this runs in the application's memory rather than on a separate server. And so again, this is designed specifically for analytical queries, which helps optimize for performance and ease of use. Then we have the opportunity within Operator BI to build insights and analyze data, interactive dashboards, and then, of course, automated reports. The report generator allows you to schedule reports to be automatically delivered when you need them and where you need them. And as a little teaser for a little bit later in the conversation, we're going to now discuss the future of bringing your own data with your own third-party data and how that interacts with the Operator BI platform. We'll discuss that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. First, I want to talk about data availability. Most BI systems batch process their data at set hourly or daily intervals, making customers wait for their data to be updated. TCN Operator's BI platform, however, offers the data within minutes of creation. empowering customers to react in real time to what is happening in their call centers. But what's better than accessing your data within minutes? How about accessing your data now? TCN is working on and will soon introduce new instant data sources, which deliver instantaneous streams of data, providing customers with instant insight into what is happening in their call center. Also, keeping it fresh. Keeping your data fresh means ensuring that the data being used for analysis is up to date, accurate, and relevant to the current moment. Outdated or stale data can lead to incorrect conclusions, missed opportunities, or poor decision making. And so TCN's Operator BI platform and data platform help to ensure that that data remains fresh and does not go stale. Scalability. So bring on the data. If tomorrow you need to double the size of your call center, TCN Operators BI can scale to match in real time with the same level of performance and accuracy. Most legacy systems require weeks, if not months, to provision the resources required to handle additional traffic. TCN Operator is tailored to meet your needs. Most off-the-shelf software solutions often lack the flexibility, security, and scalability that you would expect. TCN Operators BI is a custom software solution. It's built by our team of skilled software engineers and tailored to meet the needs of our client. And then again, bring in your own data. So imagine the world where you combine your contact center data with other data sources. This powerful synergy will unlock a deeper understanding of your data, drive deeper insights, enable stronger decision making. So it's our desire to be able to provide you with a one-stop shop within TCN's Operator BI to analyze all of your data, specifically, obviously, the data that is generated by the suite of applications offered within TCN's Operator platform, but also any other external data that you have that you can bring that data in to our system and use our tools to help report on that data along with the data that is created by TCN Operator. Okay, so with those things said, I want to spend just a minute and take a look at TCN Operator BI. So here we are looking at the dashboard within the business intelligence section. This dashboard is comprised of several different insights, and the dashboards can be configured to contain one and or many insights of different types. We have tables, we have charts, as you can see. We can quickly navigate to other insights that are available. This little TCN icon indicates that this is what's called a standard insight, something that we develop and we standardize and make available to all customers. That can then be copied and modified into a custom insight to match your company's needs. Some other elements of the dashboard allow you to filter across multiple insights for particular values. So for example, I can see within this call flow by day and efficiency by day, I have call attempts. And so I could choose to look at call attempts. And I can see here that the field column attempts is present in two different insights. So I'm going to filter across that, and I'm going to choose to filter and see maybe just a min of 3 calls and a max of 5. And I apply that, and then we'll see that those two insights update to show those results. And I can then remove that. Just a quick way that, again, you can use this interactive dashboard in analyzing the reports, the details of your call center. A couple other features to show is that we have the ability to have different output options. So for example, if I have a graph, I have configured this graph. It originates from a table. I've chosen to present it in graph format, but I can choose to easily toggle back and look at it in the table format if I so wish to do so. Some other available options is we can display and look at the actual raw output if that's something that you need to output a fixed width format, for example, or comma or other tab delimited formats. Also, ability to download a PDF, CSV, and then we can further filter down just at this view layer which columns we're looking at. Let's take a minute and actually jump over now into the actual insight itself. And so this takes us over into the Insight Builder. The Insight Builder, it's a pipeline-based system that we use. And I'm going to just expand out my period here, get a little bit more data. So now looking at the call results summary insight that you saw on the dashboard just barely, we can see how it is comprised of a data source, which in this case is the all calls data source. And the awesome thing about the pipeline format is that it allows us to really explore the data. So if I click on the very first node, which is this data source node, I can see in my inspector the raw data, everything that is present. Now, I will point out here that due to the very nature that some of your data might be extremely large, we by default limit the data to preview 1,000 rows. Browsers have an inherent limitation on the amount of data that they can present to you. So in order to fit within the browser's limitations, we'll go ahead and toggle this on, but you can remove that limit and load additional rows as you go. But as we look through the pipeline, we can see a number of different things that are happening. So we are going to use an aggregate node to create a new column called total number of calls and to give the overall count. And so if I click on that node, you'll see that that column then appears. And so we can walk through this pipeline. We do some groupings to give us, again, total attempts, a total cost, average length, new columns. And if I click on the pipeline at that point, we see how the data is transforming as we are moving along and ultimately getting from the raw source of the data all the way through to the final output of what we are desiring. The final step here is going to be just a select where we choose which rows we want to select. We can rename them. We can reorganize the order in which they appear in the output. And then finally, we have the ability to format the rows. And so if I deselect and view the final output of the pipeline, you can see that we've been able to format the total attempts into a percent format. We can deal with precision. Cost is formatted into a currency format. Again, the precision of that, oops, zooming in there, sorry, allows us a lot of flexibility. And then also to be able to create a summary row for each of those columns that are available. Output configurations. So this is the portion where we can actually configure the different output configurations that I showed. So we can choose any different type of charting. These are all available to you and very powerful. And we are able to choose here, for example, that this is the default, the table is the default, so that when added to a dashboard, that's what will show by default. But again, as I had showed, you can very easily from the dashboard choose a different view if you so choose, if it's been configured in the output configuration. One thing I want to point out here, if I go back to the pipeline, is the data sources. This is where the power really comes in. If you look, these are all of the data sources that are currently available in Operator BI. And when selected, you can further explore and see what all of the primary fields and other fields are. If you are interested in an actual detailed definition, you can click on and get further information about what that field does and what it contains. If you aren't sure where a particular field can be found in what data source, we can look for transfer duration, for example. And I can see that I can find these different fields and the data sources in which they are located. I can click on it and it will then jump me to that data source that we can then use. Dave Beathers is going to dive in a little bit deeper into how to use this on a use case basis, but I wanted to give just kind of a high level overview as to the tools and what they are used for. Quickly, once you have a pipeline and a dashboard built, you can then use our report generator to be able to build an automated report. This allows you to name the report, you choose a dashboard, you select the period for which you want the report to report on. Of course, we can activate or deactivate report jobs, and we can choose whether or not to send the report even if there is no data. And in some unique cases, people want to send the report only if there is no data. We've had a couple of unique cases there where we've been able to tailor the application to fit a particular customer's need. That goes back to that slide about how we can tailor our product to meet your needs. Automation, we use a cron-based operation to allow you to build a very simple and yet powerful cron to determine that we want this report to run Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. every day. Setting up these basic prompts to indicate when the report will deliver. And then delivery method, we can customize the output of the delivery to include the insight, the report name, and then also the date in this particular format. You can customize the format to your need. And then we use TCN's delivery definition or delivery service to handle the delivery itself. And so you can choose from existing delivery definitions that you have configured, or you can create any other a new definition based off of email or SFTP delivery options. Okay, so really quick, I wanted to do a quick demonstration of the external data. I talked about that as being a new thing that is available, and so I'm going to quickly jump over to our list management service system. And using this system, I'm going to create a new entry point here. And we'll just call this external data. And I'm going to choose the file of data that I want to upload. And what this step is doing first is this is going to analyze the file, and it's going to allow me to configure the different fields within the data set. And it will use an automated way to determine that a date is of a date type. If I need to go in, I can choose a new type and configure, make sure everything looks right. I'm going to say that looks good. I'll keep that template. And from here, I'm now going to add a new exchange. So I'm going to choose this new BI exchange that we have. I'm going to edit this. I'm going to call this BI external data. I'm going to call this, we'll just call it external data demo. So that's what I'll call it. And I'm just going to merge, or in this case, I'm creating a new data set. So that's what I'll select, and I'm going to hit save. So now I have this set up that I can then go back and choose my file that I wish to process. And we're going to wait just a second here, and it'll indicate now that it's going through its processing. Okay. So now if I actually click on my element, I can see that it has processed this data. I can look and see that that is my CSV. That very quickly it was able to process through. It was successful. It only took one attempt to do so. And if I choose, I can click on and actually view that here's all of here's the data that has been uploaded into the system. So now the question is can we go and actually use this within the BI tool? So I'm going to go back to my insights. I'm going to choose and do external data demo. Just create a new insight. This is what the system will look like if there is no pipeline that has been created yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with a new data source. So again, you're familiar with what this looks like. And then underneath the drop down, under the other, we're going to see it populate. It takes just a minute to load, so I'm going to give it just a second here and maybe give it a refresh. And cancel out of that. Let's give it a second there. Okay, it hasn't loaded quite yet, but here's an example. I did this just before the call, so I'm just going to click on this to show you that it can take up to 5 minutes for the data to process. So I'm going a little bit quick here. But this is the same data source I had uploaded prior to the call. We can see all the fields that are present. And then if I choose add, then we'll see the data there that's available to us that we can then go and use to do some reporting on within the Operator BI platform. Okay, that's what I have to cover. I want to turn the bulk of the time now over to Dave Beathers, as he is going to go through and do a bit of a deeper dive on a bit of a use case, more of a use case perspective on the tool and how it can be used to solve um, your reporting needs. So, Dave, floor is yours.
Hey, thanks, Dave. You get to hear from both Daves today. So, um, I don't know if I hope you all understand how significant what Dave Chase just showed you was. The ability to bring your own data into our system is phenomenal, and it takes our platform to a whole nother level. As McKay started out showing the pinwheel, if you look at our menu in Operator, we touch on every major service that the modern contact center needs in order to operate. Um, we have the omni-channel, we have compliance and data management, we have integrations and automations, we have workforce engagement, which is workforce management and optimization. And today you're learning more about our business intelligence and analytics. Now, we've been doing this for well over 9 years, specifically in business intelligence and reporting. That's kind of what I've been a big part of in the last so many years. And even this operator dashboard and the operator tools you're seeing, we've kind of had a soft launch, you might say, over the past year, 2 years, where especially if you're coming to our C3 input conference, you've been using this tool to standardize your reports, to make it streamlined, to get away from spreadsheets and Excel, and emailing your staff members timely reports. This automates all that. But now to not only bring from every aspect of the TCN platform, including different channels, and bringing all of that into one place in one dashboard, now being able to supplement that with your own data from your own CRMs, your own payment processors, your own external data sources. Now we're in the realm of where you don't have to go to a third-party BI aggregator to really understand what's happening in your contact center. You don't have to go to a Tableau or a Snowflake or any of the other choices that are out there that are costly for implementation. They take time to implement. You're dealing with multiple vendors. With TCN, as historically, you can bundle many services and deal with our incredible and differentiating customer support that we have, our people that we have, and the technology, the availability, the uptime. Somebody that's really focused on your industry and really keen on compliance and the tool sets that you need for now and for the future. So this is a big milestone, I think, to be able to ingest your additional external data, whether it's with business intelligence or whether we're monitoring all your calls or your communications and handling that with one compliance tool and doing it all in one place. So I guess I'm just reiterating and talking about some of the benefits. Like, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to our clients that are using our services? And really, it means that you have a consolidation of effort. You're not duplicating resources or services or shipping data back and forth from multiple vendors. Your team members can be, I'm not going to say they're going to be data analysts, because that first chart, honestly, Dave Chase, that first chart from data to reports was kind of scary, and I think it kind of it might have scared some of the people watching. Some of the data geeks were obviously getting into it and going and just super excited about that. But the point of our tool is, if you're on either end of that spectrum, you have access to the cutting edge technologies that anybody else out there has, where you can now have very specific capabilities that help you get your job done. One of the cool things about our business intelligence and operator allows you to have default landing pages. What that means in its simplest sense is that every user that you have on the system, whether a manager, a supervisor, a C-level, or operations, they can have their own dashboard. If they're a quality analyst, if they're watching recordings, if they're watching compliance, whatever it is, they can come to business intelligence, and upon logging in, they get their own their own dashboard, their own war room, so to speak, where they don't have to click multiple times to get to what they're trying to do in a given day. That alone is a huge time saver and a huge convenience saver. And what it actually does is it takes the power of BI and it makes those individuals almost analysts, where they can focus on enhanced job performance just by having the tools at their fingertips. I also want to point out a couple of things. Dave said how, we have instant data coming. I want to point out that most of our data is also maybe at a 3 to 5 minute delay. So that's insane to have all of the data at your fingertips and to be able to make decisions real time and to get upstream in your decision making process and your performance evaluation. I'm going to go through a couple things here quickly. We want to have some time for questions and things. Dave showed you quite a bit. I'm going to go into, he did mention our standard insights. As you can see, we've got quite a few that we've already designed and built. We do have descriptions that kind of help with that and group those in different things, whether they're workforce management or whether they're omni or whether they're agent-based. So those descriptions, we're going to get better at classifying those and helping you see what's in there. But I kind of want to show you the power of, just as Dave indicated, the raw data. If I create a new insight, and I'm going to show that there's standard stuff that's already built, there's immediate value from going off of what we've learned from all of our clients and pulling in best practices that you can benefit from. But if you like to roll up your sleeves, you're going to just love this product because, as Dave mentioned, you can come in and pick a particular data source and add that data source. And with 2 clicks, I have an inbound CDR report that shows me all the metadata that's coming through on a particular inbound call type. So this is every single call. We've got caller ID, we've got the ANI, we've got the inbound call SID, we've got costs and lengths and durations, and everything that's in there is in there. And so just with even the raw data sources, we've got many of our clients that still think, okay, I've already got a Tableau or a BI of product that we're paying for. Well, you technically could export our data using our product. I'd love to show you why you want to go the other way and bring it into our system, but I understand you may have invested all that money already and have a great environment that we need to work over time to earn and switch you over time to make it well. But in the meantime, we can get you access to your data. It's your data. It's just in the system. It's available. So it's super powerful when it comes to that. Already mentioned that we can match whatever type of export you're looking for. I want to go to this next aspect that is, I want to show you a couple of the standards that I would say are go-to. If we have client requests that come in and say, hey, I need a report that does this, I need a report that does that. I'm going to point out a couple of those really good starting points, and I'll show you why. So the first one, we often
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
You need to share your screen just as a.
It hasn't been sharing it all this time? Oh, goodness.
No, I just stopped and you can share yours.
Oh my goodness. It says I'm sharing my screen. McKay, do you see that?
Yeah, it's sharing.
Has it been sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
My apologies.
No worries. It's always good to have a friend to make sure that nothing's hanging from your nose or that your screen's sharing. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to show you one that it's a go-to standard insight. Remember, any of the standard insights have the TCN moniker on it. And there's a description that shows what it does, and it talks about this. So the description of this one: this report summarizes call campaign performance, aggregated by business segment using a combined call, agent, and task data. Each row details, I wish that was a little bigger, campaign segment, providing key metrics on volume outcomes, call attempts, and results like answered, abandoned, and canceled. Agent performance, average duration of talk, wrap up, and hold. So this is just a really good starting point for understanding what your contact center is doing. Inbound and outbound calls specifically in this example, but it also focuses on some kind of business segmentation that you're probably doing on our system. So which teams, which portfolios, which pools. I'm not gonna hit every aspect of this, but I'm just going to the output section, and let's just hide this for a second. So you can see this lists all the different field definitions that are in use, and you can see that in play here. This is just on a test account. So it's showing my pools or my business segment. It's showing how many records are updated, whether this is 10 or 10,000 records. It's showing how many attempts, how many customer phone numbers, how many attempts were non-canceled attempts. So there's a lot of definitions that's pretty key. Switching from providers or even within providers, how do you know if the definition is what you want, and if the penetration rate that this one reflects is counting things that are going to the telco provider or not? Well, Dave already showed you one place where you can get the definitions. I'm going to show you another. If I grab, well, I did grab this one. I grabbed business segment. We've got a large language model built into the system in the help section. So if I go, well, let's just do it again. Over on the side, I've always got a cap, a learning center cap that gives me additional information about what we're looking at. But additionally, there is a chat bot in here. And if I say, hey, I want to know what this definition of business segment is, well, I can just key it in here. Whoops, if I type it right, there we go. I type it in and I get a definition from our glossary that tells me exactly what these tools are. If I come in here to any percentage, or if I have utilization or occupancy, some of these terms that, depending on who you talk to, depending on the industry, depending on the provider, they're a little different. Well, now you can just pop it into the chatbot and you can understand how we got there. The reason also why I point you to some of these standard templates is because if you're brave, you can go behind the scenes and you can look and see how something is defined. So in here, this is a map node that takes characteristics from the pipeline and helps us define, how we want to transform the data. But if I want to say, well, when TCN says, oh, I don't know, what's a good one? Attempts non-canceled. Well, let's get another one. So I have one in here that says a canceled result. I have different variations of canceled results. I'll show you in a moment. Let's go to the first one. Let's try this one. So here's a map node that looks at my data. It looks like at all the call data that we're saying, and it says, if I have a result from a call attempt that has any of these results, I want to return the call SID, the call identifier. And then further on, we just count that and say, I have 2,000 calls that were canceled. Well, what does that mean? Well, I can come back and see, here's the breakout. These are canceled because they're cellular. These are zip code. These are compliance. These are time zone compliance. And so in this one data source, we have a lot of the major groupings that most of our clients really want to understand and know of. So we've got link call or resumed. We've got connections or transfers or opt-in or opted calls, queue callbacks. So it also covers many of our features that are available. So this is a really good starting point to understand what's happening with your call center. And then if you work with your account managers or me in some consultative fashion, which is, we do for all of our clients, we can see trends and things that are happening that you may not be aware of, and we can kind of discover that together, modify these dashboards and insights so that they're really effective to you. I see that we're going to burn up a lot of time here, so let me go on to a couple other versions of this. I also want to point out that in the Learning Center, which is right here, there is a standalone BI data source glossary. So everything that's feeding that large language model chatbot is defined and searchable for you in a standalone document. That's been a huge request for many years with our legacy or our older BI platform. We weren't able to do that. We're doing that for you now. And so this has been received very, very well, and people are pretty excited about it. Let me go in just to show you. So that original version was on a daily basis, every campaign or every pool that I'm sending out. Sometimes our clients like to look at that over time. So it's very easy for us to modify that. And in this case, I just have a very simple penetration report that helps me look at the pools or the business group segments that I'm looking at, tells me how many tasks or accounts I've uploaded over time, and this might be the last 30 days, and then shows me in a completion percent and so forth. So these types of things, the tools that we're showing you, the ability for our team and you, if you want to get in and to modify the data or say, well, I like this aspect, but I have this question. We can add another tool to this pipeline to help get that data and then refine it to your needs. And that takes days, not weeks, or it takes hours, not days. It's a huge time saver. And it becomes a selling point for you and your business to be able to deliver additional deliverables to your client base in a short fashion, and using the automated reporting as well, that can go right to your clients if you want it to. So there's some cool concepts and ideas about how this can really impact your business. One of the other insights I'd like you to be aware of is we've got it's a unified call detail report with agent details and responses. So this is another good starting point, where if you just want a data dump of any call attempt, inbound, outbound, manual dial, preview dial, queue callbacks, this will show each and every call that you're making and give you descriptive information. It's a great starting point. It also shows if agents are involved in the call. It shows how many agents have been involved in the call. If this was transferred, it'd show 2 or 3 agents. It shows the results. It shows you the agent name, the teams, the pools. It shows you durations. It just has everything in there. It shows if you're using different phone numbers for caller IDs and so forth, and the states. So it's a great starting point to say, I just want to know what's happening on my call center platform. And so this is a tool where we can say, well, give me all my cancel calls. What we'll do is we'll come in here in this pipeline, and at the very tail end of the pipeline, we'll just say, hey, I like this output, but I just want only calls that meet a certain criteria. So in this case, I don't know, let's say agents. So out of all my call attempts, I want, well, what do we have? We have an agent call SID. So if agent call SID is populated, so if it's not null, then I just want all my calls that went to agents. That's all I have to do, and I have a brand new report that already filters it down to agent calls, and I can understand what's happening on my contact center platform. And so it's just very quick, very nimble to work with. I've got another version of that instead of all agents that are on a call, it automatically filters and shows only those calls or only the call detail for the last agent on the call. Maybe your product or your system isn't sophisticated enough to, or maybe we don't need to bring back any of the call or any of the call information that requires multiple agents. So, there's some in there that are pre-filtered. I've got maybe 3 minutes that I'm going to touch on briefly on a couple of things. As Dave indicated, we have pre-configured dashboards. You already saw the call flow by day. This is call and agent performance. I just want to point out that if you're a dialer manager and you have your dashboard, you should be watching your agents and you should be looking at agent overview information. When did they log in? When was the most recent login? How many calls are they fielding? What is their average duration in any call state, whether that's a percentage indicator or a time indicator? We can adjust those very rapidly. And then if there's something, I just think this agent is having a hard day, you can drill down into that agent and you can see their time frame and what they're actually doing. So in this case, this is my test account. So it's not, I'll show you another version of this, but you can see each and every status that agent is in according to a timeline. So there's no questions, there's no guessing what my agent has been doing. And again, we want to configure this in such a way that your team is dealing with either exceptions or performance, and they're not having to sort through all the noise, because there is a lot. I'm a data geek too. I like getting into all the details, but we want to make sure that your team is only focused on the information you want them to focus on that will help them improve performance or keep the lights on. We've got drill down capability in our graphs and charts. This example of a dashboard is showing agent performance. So it's showing, and I refer to this example where manual calls, it shouldn't take 10 minutes to key in a 10-digit phone number and place that call. So you can ensure that one agent or multiple agents are keeping within parameters of not taking breaks on manual dial calls. So we have a very high degree of visibility and transparency into what your agents are doing, especially with our workforce management solution, where we can see adherence and conformance and those types of things as well. This is an example. It's all been obfuscated, so you can't see these agents, but this is a real contact center. I'm drilling into an individual agent and looking at what pause reasons that they have used for today so far. So I can see exactly what those pause reasons are. Couple more things. This is compliance. Compliance is huge. Immediately for a 7-day period, I can see how many attempts have been, how many attempts and what result types are categorizing for each call attempt. So for these call attempts that all have one attempt, I can see the breakout. And so I can see answered link call is green. I can see diminishing returns with each subsequent call attempt onto the 6th attempt. And then by the time it gets to 7th attempt, I don't have a green. At 8th attempt, it resurges, but you're saying, hey, wait, you can't do, it's got to be 7 and 7. Well, let's look at the exception. We can see why those calls were denied with our compliance rule. We can see how many of those calls were denied and for what reason and for what rule. And then down here, we can say, hey, I want to look at those 8 calls, or excuse me, I want to look at those 7 calls that had 8 attempts. And I can immediately see that of those 6 unique phone numbers, there was 1 attempt that was linked call. The rest were invalid and no answer. And so you can ensure your compliance with our BI as well. And I can even drill down and look at the actual call examples of what happened with which consumer's phone number, and all the way down to every single call attempt that happened in that regard. Down here at the bottom, this is showing me every single reason why our compliance engine prevented a call to go out and at what time, and very, very highly detailed. There's a lot to show you. We'll have to do this in one-on-ones with you or with your team or future webinars. But just a lot of very helpful information. Why are our agents or the callers disconnecting? Whose side was it with the agent side? And why is that agent doing that? We also have dashboards that your agent can access. So instead of actually having to harp on them or come down on them externally, you can just say, hey, check out your dashboard. You can see your own performance. You can see you can compare it if you want to choose and show them if they're a leaderboard, are they one of the top leaders, or the bottom where you can see exactly, they can see what they've been doing as well. I see McKay coming on. I know I'm going over, McKay. I want to
No, this is really
point
good,
out
Dave.
quickly SMS and channels. We have those as well, so we can show reports specific to the channel. And then finally, workforce optimization. So we can show you very detailed reporting on flags if your agents are or are not saying what they need to say. So profanity, for example, or threat language, we can drill into those agents and really save a lot of time for corrective issues. So thanks.
No, thanks, Dave Beathers, and as well as Dave Chase. There's several questions that have come in. Yes, the recording will be available for those that are asking. There's been a couple around that and questions about how to get started. Please reach out to TCN, your account manager, as well as I'm going to post in the chat some information that will be useful on learning more about BI. It's some product information on our website, so go there to check it out if you need more additional details, and then reach out to your account manager as well. And then there is a question here. I'm not sure for who this would be, either of the Daves. But when the main dashboard in BI, can you download the entire dashboard with all the graphs and tables included into a single PDF? Maybe that might be covered in the.
That's a good question. So
Yeah.
as of right now, we can set those reports to go out. So every single dashboard would be able to have a CSV file, and we're working to have a PDF export. Dave, I don't know if you have any.
Yeah. Let me turn my camera back on here. So it is correct that currently from the dashboard, you can download individual PDFs. However, we are in the final stages of adding PDF support to the reporting tool that would allow you to deliver a single file PDF.
For an entire dashboard, right?
For an entire dashboard. Yep.
You heard it here, Dave. We've got you pinned now.
Cool. And that's also, I mean, these reports can be automated and delivered by email as well, which I think is very helpful and useful to know that as well. And I think you cut,
also secure channels, especially too.
Yeah.
We like to stay away from email.
The email.
Summary information for sure.
Next question is, can we extract data from multiple databases like agent session, agent logs, etc., on the same insight? Also, can we group that date by agent and date?
Yes. It's we didn't want to overwhelm anybody with what's possible, but let me just go to the quick answer is you can join anything you want to join. So all those different data sources, these are 4 different data sources that all have very important information. We join it all together and present it at the output. So absolutely. That's the beauty of it. We don't have some of the limitations we had on our legacy system. You don't have some of those limitations. Anything on TCN's platform, whether it's any of those services, we could potentially bring those into one insight.
Thank you, Dave, both of you, for your insight. We don't have any other questions, but is there any, we got just 1 minute to, if any of you have anything to say to close. Otherwise, I think we can.
So McKay, let me just clarify one piece. I know the external data is as Dave pointed out, it's a big deal, and we're very excited about it. I do want to clarify that we are in the final stages of its development. Where I was showing you the demo is in our staging environment, so it's not yet available in production. We hope to have that in the near future, but if you've got questions about it, certainly reach out to your account manager. We'd be happy to jump on a call to answer questions, see how it can help you, and answer any further questions that way. And the same would pertain to the instant data. Also in final stages of development, I expect that to be available to be able to start delivering essentially agent dashboards to the operator platform. Essentially, the goal is to replace the agent dashboard in the old P3 system with this new agent dashboard. All of that as well. We're in the closing stages, and it'll be really cool.
And I'll add on to that too is the BI is the reporting tool. So any of the old reports that were available on back office or on legacy, like this really is where you're going to access your entire reporting suite, not just from whether it's static reports or just detail reports for call detail or channel detail reports, all the way up to analytical reports or or prescriptive or what do I want to say, forecasting into the future with workforce management. That's all here now.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you both. And thank you to everybody that's joined us today. Those who participated in the questions, it really does help a lot to have questions and to see how you guys, everybody plans to use the tool. And I'm sure there'll be other questions. So please reach out to your account manager if there's any additional questions that didn't get asked or were not addressed today. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you.